Well. It seems like the global banking sector is facing even bigger challenges again. So brace yourselves because there's news that's making even the most cautious investors raise their eyebrows. So just today, Moody's, the credit rating agency, decided to downgrade 10 mid-sized U.S. banks. And on top of that, Italy just gave lenders a surprise 40% windfall tax, talking about a double whammy that's got the financial industry buzzing. Remember the financial crisis that knocked down 3 U.S. banks earlier this year? Well, that's still casting a shadow over the sector to this day. Credit Suisse had to be bailed out by UBS Group AG in a rescue deal. Not exactly a shiny moment for the industry, wouldn't you say? But I guess they're expecting us just to cross our fingers and wish for the best. Now here's the kicker. Even the big U.S. banks that weren't part of the Moody's review decided to take a hit. JP Morgan Chase saw a 2% drop. And Bank of America? Well, it managed to outdo itself with a loss of over 3%. But they're not the only ones feeling the heat right now. The Stoxx Europe 600 banks sub-index also dropped a hefty 2.9%. So it basically looks like the concerns are spreading across the pond at this moment. But hold on, because it gets even more interesting. Major Italian banks like Intesa Sanpaolo, Banco BPM, and Unicredit saw their shares fall between 6.5% and 9%. And guess what? Spain and Hungary have already jumped on the tax bandwagon. It's appearing like a domino effect, and the whole industry seems to be getting caught in the crossfire. But let's not just focus on the negatives. Moody's has some concerns, and they're waving the red flag. They're worried about the profitability of the U.S. banks taking a hit, along with the rising funding costs and the high exposure to commercial real estate loans. Recently, Stuart Cole, chief macroeconomist at Equity Capital, even called Moody's announcement a wake-up call. He's emphasizing the role of U.S. regional banks in supporting small and mid-sized businesses. So I guess it's not all doom and gloom, I suppose. Speaking of challenges, though, Moody's didn't stop there. They put 6 banks on their radar for a potential downgrade. And these Bank of New York Mellon, U.S. Bancorp, State Street, and Truist Financial. Shares of these banks took a hit by dropping approximately 2.5% and almost 4%. Hold on there, because we're not done yet. Shares of Citigroup, Wells Fargo's, Goldman Sachs, and Morgan Stanley also decided to play the let's drop game, with losses ranging from 2 to 4%. But at the end of the day, the good news is that their ratings weren't part of Moody's review just yet. So in the midst of all this, there's an interesting shift happening. Smaller regional banks are gaining traction as they're willing to pay more to attract customers. The FDIC recently announced the failure of Heartland Tri-State Bank in Elkhart, Kansas, but the story doesn't end there. Deposits are shifting, with larger banks losing out while these regional players step in to capitalize on the opportunity. So there you have it. This is what's happening in the news today. The banks aren't doing too good. The contagion is spreading. They can't hide it for long. The FDIC is going to be on the hook for all these losses. All the unsecured depositors, I'm sure, are very concerned right now, because if you have anything above $250,000 that's not insured, you're trying to figure out what you're going to do right now. And I imagine the banking regulators and the U.S. Treasury are meeting right now, trying to figure out how to make sure that this contagion that's starting to spread in Europe right now won't make its way back here. So we are nowhere near clear of this banking contagion. It hasn't even started yet. But then again, if you're part of the community, you already knew that. And hopefully, as myself and a lot of others have mentioned, make sure you don't have more in the hands of others that you wouldn't be willing to lose if those contractual agreements are broken due to events or affairs beyond your control or their control. But anyway, thought I would share my thoughts, let you know what's happening right now in real time. Curious to hear your thoughts. If you want more analytical research and analysis, feel free to make sure you click the link in the description to download some of the free RTD crisis reports just to stay plugged in on information that you won't hear nowhere else. Anyway, catch you on the next video.